What'd you guys think?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was it kind of put a nice bow on Daniel Craig's run as Bond. And it kind of wrapped up a lot of loose ends about this, these organizations, multiple, that he's been dealing with through his run. I thought it ran long. I thought it's the longest Bond movie ever, 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Wow.
I thought they could have shaved off a good 15, 20 minutes and they wouldn't have lost much.
MI6 spoilers in
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Get out!
3,
Get out of there! Get out!
1.
Now, the opening tracking shot, that was brilliant. Obviously, I don't have a problem with that.
Love that shot.
I mean, that went on for a long time, but I thought it was really cool.
It's awesome.
Had that to Orson Welles' Touch of Evil kind of tracking shot through the crowd and all that. But, I thought there were some scenes that could have been trimmed down. The guy who plays Moriarty on the Sherlock BBC.
Oh, Denby?
Yeah, the Denby guy.
C? They call him C.
It was kind of a secondary story in the movie where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna shut you guys down and turn this into some big."
That kind of felt like an old movie, been there, done that. You kind of almost felt like you knew what was going on. He was an inside guy.
I would have rather them just do away with that whole subplot entirely and just focus on
a lot
the
of
main one.
A lot of M involvement
Things
versus
that I really liked. Q finally getting into some action, which he never has been in any other movie.
Yeah, that was
you could kind of see a Mission Impossible kind of influence on that because Simon Pegg's character is heavily involved in the Mission Impossible movie. So Ben Whishaw kind of got more involved in this one there's as comic relief as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it didn't feel like it was either hokey, and a lot of people were saying that the jokes were hokey. I didn't feel that they were. I thought they were kind of funny.
I thought, that's another thing. I thought it was kind of a throwback to the old Roger Moore Bonds. Where there was a little more jokes, and there was the sexy girls in the opening credits. They actually had the gun barrel at the opening for the first time ever.
That was a major improvement
in a Bond.
I wanted
Craig,
that so bad.
Yeah, for the first time ever in a Craig movie at the beginning, which that's been a big gripe for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's like, just go back to the formula. Like, Casino Royale was an experiment, but after that, they should have been like, here's the formula.
And that's the irony of this Bond is like it's kind of going back to the formulaic Bond, but people, I think, there's a lot of people that are disappointed with the movie because they're kind of gotten used to this deep, dark Daniel Craig, kind of character study kind of Bond, where he's battling his own demons and his past, and it's very angsty,
And I'm really glad that they cast Ralph Fiennes as M. I thought.
Oh yeah.
I thought that even though he didn't, have a lot of action, he's got the chops to do it.
Well, he's great. I miss Judi Dench though. I thought she had
but you got to see her.
You got to see
well,
her.
That's true.
Spoiler, sorry, we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
But I thought he was a great M. He didn't seem like he was a wimpy, like high level government guy.
Right.
He definitely went to bat like M would have.
Yeah, and he had a bit more of a role in this as normally than most M's would as well.
Well,
except for Judi Dench.
The reason I'm thinking he had a little bit more scenery is
he's Ray Fiennes.
Right. Like, if he's going to sign on to this, he's going to want to act, not just like, see you, Bond. Hey, Bond, come back. Here's your mission.
I'll be here at my desk with the...
And Judi Dench got to, play around with her character, too. It wasn't just at the office like it used to be, the M. You just see them, and then that'd be it, pretty much.
And it's kind of interesting because I think with Craig, you kind of felt like M was a mom to Bond.
Right.
And then Ralph Fiennes finally figured out that,
Yeah.
he is who he says he is. And
he's channeling, like, the original M's, pretty much,
And wasn't the original M like a guy anyway?
Bernard
all the
Lee.
old Bonds?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for years and years.
Was it Bernard Lee played him?
Yeah. Well, Bernard Lee, let me think. Yeah, I think that's right.
And not to discredit Judi Dench, because she was great, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I kind of got used to her, though, so I kind of missed her in this one. But Ray Fiennes, he was fine. But I like that Léa Seydoux as the new Bond girl. I kind of thought Monica Bellucci was kind of...
The blonde-haired lady?
Yeah.
Seydoux is her last name?
Yeah,
No.
she's French. Yeah, which is weird.
Never hear it in her
It's
voice.
kind of a weird thing because she's almost like the new Vesper Lind, who the original Vesper Lind in Casino Royale. She was French as well, so it's almost like here's your new French girlfriend to make up for the one that got killed in Casino Royale.
She comes close.
I thought there was some good chemistry. This is the first Bond girl that there was actually some good chemistry again, like Vesper Lind, though. Not unlike you saw with the other Bond ladies that were in
Quantum, like there was a distance with that chick.
Yeah,
and then,
that whole movie's a mess. Yeah,
and really, honestly, when I watched it, you could have almost put Casino Royale and this one back to back and not missed much.
I could see that. Except
for a couple of key parts where he explains things.
Skyfall.
They go back to the villains that he's had.
Yeah.
So if you take that, I totally agree. And I've even heard if you watch Casino Royale and Quantum back to back, it's like just one big movie. Like it works better.
That said, I would feel bad for people that hadn't seen the movies because this one references the other one so much.
Oh
You know, they even put the pictures of all the old villains up multiple times. And
well, hell, even Mr. White. I mean, you know, you could have had Casino Royale and this movie together, and then gone off on something else.
That's
called it good.
That's the whole problem. Is like it's kind of like why Skyfall was the way it was. Like at the end, he went to the office. Like they were getting back to the formula.
Mm-hmm. Monica Bellucci worth it in that Bond movie or no?
No, I don't think so.
I thought she has such a small. Whatever
Very
happened
small.
to her?
Felix came and got her. I guess
Felix Lister.
I
There's
wanted
a
to
message.
see Felix.
I did
Felix.
too.
That kind of got left on the. It's like it almost feels like they
Kind of felt like
just-
Thor when they go back into that scene where he goes back, you know, in Avengers, and they cut it out, and you're like, well, why did he go to that looking pool?
Yeah, it almost feels like it's something like they had to cut. You know, it was already a long movie, so they're like, well, we're just leaving whatever happens to her on the cutting room floor. So
Yeah.
it just felt like she was kind of such a great actress. She was kind of just.
And they were all saying, you know, finally a Bond girl that's Daniel Craig's age. I was kind of like hoping, well, she's going to be the Bond girl.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was, but you could
Not the one you thought she was going to be.
Yeah, he was more of a parking spot.
He went to the bathroom, came back. You probably would have missed her part. I mean, it was really short.
And that reminds me of another thing that where it got back to the old ways of doing things, as they would say, where, you know, back in the Roger Moore days, like the chicks just hop right into bed with him for no good reason. And the Craig movies weren't exactly like that.
Yeah, you had to seduce him a little.
And then here it's just right back to, well, we're just hopping into bed right after I had a huge fight and I'm like gravely injured. It just or with Monica Bellucci where she's like right after her husband's funeral, like she's getting it on with James Bond. I mean, I don't like that where they're just throwing themselves at him like they did in the old days, where it just doesn't make sense that they would at that time that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite as ridiculous as it got, you know, especially with the like Pierce Brosnan in some scenes where, you know,
those are
easily.
hokey.
Oh yeah, like
And the Bond girls were horrible.
yeah,
Except
Christmas
for
Jones or whatever. Name.
Except for that Framke Jansen or whatever lady. That was
Famke
probably
Janssen?
Yeah,
Yes,
she was the best
On
Bond
the
girl.
top. Yeah, she was like the last good.
last good Bond girl
Inch-
since
yeah.
Vesper. Yeah,
She had an arc to her, you know, like Power, if you know, like Odd Job or like, you know,
random task. Show them what you do.
Speaking of Odd Job, I thought you know Dave Bautista, he was okay. You know, his physical presence was really good. His fight scenes were really good. I just felt like he was massively underused in terms of his speaking role. He had one word, literally.
Yeah. Oh shit.
So I don't know.
but you could miss that too.
I thought
So it was like Silent Bob and Bond.
Christoph Waltz was massively underused for how good he is.
Yeah.
So I thought the characterizations for especially the villains, there was a big letdown.
Well, and like I said previously, I think only Quentin Tarantino could have wrote for him in a Bond movie.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that about Christoph Waltz. Is like he's a great actor, but with Quentin Tarantino material, he's really.
It's like the two understand each other.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
it brings out the best in him.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, he had good material in this, but
he was just kind of a generic villain, though.
Yeah.
You didn't have the stakes. You didn't feel were as high.
No,
with him as the villain.
And you could have had him more twisted if Tarantino wrote it. You know.
Oh yeah.
Because Tarantino isn't afraid to really twist things to like the point where it's almost not PC enough to be on TV.
I did enjoy the movie. I think it's got a few moments that any Bond fan would enjoy. You know, the history of Bond, there's a lot of themes that come back, and you know they're introduced in different ways. But it's really cool. It's a lot of Easter eggs. I do agree, like it could have been edited down a lot more. Maybe even more 15 minutes. I don't know. You know,
opening song, good, bad. What do you guys think?
It was okay.
I don't hate it.
It's not memorable for me. It's just kind of a generic Bond song. It was better. It's not bad. It's not that great.
It was better with the movie, I think.
I think the title sequences for these Craig Bonds have been outstanding.
Very artsy and they're good. They're good.
I want them. I'm kind of so on.
Well, the whole movie had you know, a lot of throwbacks, homages to a lot of Roger Moore's. Cause I think "Live and Let Die" is Sam Mendes' favorite, and Daniel Craig's in that opening scene of Mexico City. had a lot of live and let die vibe going on with the skulls and.
Yeah.
But,
I thought the action in this movie was great. I thought there was just the helicopter fight.
That was great.
I thought the car chase went on a little longer than it needed to.
That could have been trimmed, I think, and I did like the theme they used with that car chase, but I kind of I want to hear the engines, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I didn't really hear much of that. It was just watching a car chase and on mute, kind of,
Yeah.
When Q showed Bond the new car,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like, well, sadly, 009's getting this car. But you can have this, and it was the watch. And he's like, "What's it do?" He's talking about the car. He's like, "Oh, it tells time."
I thought, as far as I love the action in it. I thought the action were some of the best. All of Craig's movies have had great action, but I thought they were outstanding. I thought, like I said, Lea Seydoux, she was really good. She wasn't as good as Eva Green in Casino Royale, but I thought thematically, they did a good job of like when she said, "Oh, I'm seeing two of you" when she was drunk in the hotel. That was kind of a call to Blofeld, because he's kind of.
Oh, is that what she meant by that?
Well, I mean, I don't. She was drunk. She meant I'm saying double,
I thought maybe she was talking about her
but
dad.
thematically, it's saying I'm seeing two of you. Just like there's like two James Bond because of Blofeld is kind of is even dressed like him, like in parts of the movie.
Yeah, that's kind of
It's
weird.
kind
Like
of
that
his
funeral scene, in
bad
the beginning.
twin or something.
Yeah, you see it, behind his head, and it's like
They're dressed the same. They have the same sunglasses.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah. So and like the end where. Which is they have the kind of it's kind of ridiculous where he's behind that bulletproof glass. The way they film it, they even have his reflection and Bond's together facing each other. So I thought that was really well done. I thought the way this was photographed was maybe the most beautiful Bond movie.
Probably, yeah. The scenery and stuff is probably the best I've ever seen.
Which is movie. Saying something because Skyfall was gorgeous, but this one was just as
my God, the Rome car chase that was amazing. I mean, it kind of.
And I almost felt like there was almost too many locales in this movie.
True,
they
really jump around. Yeah, I could see that.
Like they really went over the top with
the Alps
all the
was wasted. Changes. I thought I wanted them to ski or something. Like classic Bond, but they never.
I thought that's where it was going, but it didn't.
The airplane kind of seemed kind of.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It was cool.
It was funny.
It was like, did you plan this whole thing?
It's like where'd you get that plane?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's what I was thinking. Like, where did he come up with this plane all of a sudden?
He just stole it. But yeah, like we had the classic train car scene. He had the white blazer. It's Goldfinger kind of flashback with the rose.
Yeah.
When they get picked up to go to Blofeld's compound, that's like Goldfinger's car, isn't it, or similar to the one?
I thought so. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that's what they were trying to reference, but that's what it looked like to me.
And when they got to Blofeld's place at the end, that was like a Dr. No type of homage, I think,
or even the what is it? Never Say Never Again, or whatever. Or, what's the one where he goes to Japan?
Oh God, You Only Live Twice.
You Only Live Twice. Sorry, that's right. Yeah, where that Blofeld is in the volcano. It almost kind of feels like that. Where he's in a crater.
That's the beauty of it. It's just channeling so many things we've seen before, and the whole thing about, hey, we're gonna have champagne around 4 or whatever it was, and then he had suits for them in their room, and
I'm glad he finally got his scar after.
That was a cool touch.
The white
with the
cat.
eye. That was cool. And they couldn't do that back then. He had the scar back then, but I think his eyes.
Yeah, I was fine. I think.
But, they didn't probably have contacts or something.
And they had the white cat, which. I mentioned.
Bond was like, "Hey, pussy."
Daniel Craig's Bonds have always had these like brutal torture scenes. The one in Casino Royale where he's getting whipped in the nuts with the
that was
rope.
Intense.
And then
you done scratched my balls. That was funny.
I'm trying to think
trying to think
what the other torture scenes are. Like, let's see, Skyfall. The torture scene is probably just having to get hit on by Javier Bardem while he's tied up.
Yeah, that was creepy. And then him admitting
getting felt
that
up
may not have been
by
the
Javier.
first time.
Javier.
Oh, Mr. Bond.
That might have been the most harrowing. No.
Yeah.
But this one had this was the most gruesome where he's that drill. I'm like, oh my God. People like I'm sitting next to, they actually cringed. They're like,
what was the point of the drill anyway?
He's supposed to like
erase
kill
memories
him slowly in his head or something.
That was that
didn't work though. He didn't do shit.
I thought that was suspenseful as hell. But yeah, I'm like, the question I had was like, how did he avoid the part where he was going to lose all his memory? Because he got drilled, and then he's like, he still remembered her, and I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Did he move at the last minute? And like, oh, you missed that nerve or
and
whatever.
This is what I also feel is like the minute they saw each other, Bond hadn't seen this guy since childhood.
Yeah.
Why not ask him the questions to start with instead of later on when he's getting drilled into, Blofeld talks about, do you know my father was Bond's mentor or whatever. That was kind of a stretch too. I thought was he killed his father just because. I mean, I get jealousy, but and then you decide to become this leader of this organization.
Yeah, it's like, geez, what a bitch.
A little, yeah, right. And
you bastard.
The Hail Hydra ring.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's just. I mean, I like the movie, but yeah, just with the pacing and everything, it just seemed like a lot of times they should have just got to the damn point. And
yeah. I thought the editing could have
anticlimactic. It's like, it's a big reveal. No, it's not. He killed his dad. Okay, we kind of knew that, but why didn't we know that before?
Yeah. But see, I thought Daniel Craig was supposed to do one more.
Contracts don't mean anything.
That's true.
He just might not get paid. I don't know what the details of his contract are. He just might not get paid if he refuses to do his last one. So, I think it will be the end because for one, Sony, they're moving on from Sony. It's going to be an entirely different studio with different bosses.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't want to stick around for that big shakeup. And usually when a new studio takes over a property, they want their own guy to do it. They want their own directors. They want their own, the actors. Just like with when Craig came in, they want to reboot it and take it in a new direction. So, and he's getting older.
I think he's got one left in him.
I do too.
I thought it was fitting that one of the last scenes in the movie is him walking away.
A lot of symbolism going on. He's on the bridge, right in the middle of his two desires to have, a love, and then the thing is, it's like it almost felt like this could be like the last Bond movie in a way because it's like
Ever.
How do you?
Yeah.
What I mean, it's like come on, she can't die. I mean,
Did anybody stay to the very end where it would say Bond will return?
Did it come up?
I don't know. I didn't stay.
I didn't either.
I'd be shocked
but
if it
usually
wasn't
that
one,
comes up right away, and it
Yeah.
didn't. And I was like, okay, are they just done with
That
done
can't
with the
No,
story?
there's going to be other Bond movies. But
I know, but
That's
the
too
way it ended,
successful
it's like
of a
okay,
franchise.
because
I think it's an end for Craig's Bond.
Yeah. Well, that Madeline Swan, she basically channeled Bond's wife Tracy from On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Is that the one with the one Bond that was only one Bond?
Yes, George Lazenby. Yeah,
Lazenby or whatever?
yeah. Mm-hmm. He only did one Bond. Yeah, and that's what they.
But his wife died in that movie, didn't she?
I know, and they
blew
couldn't.
up in a car.
Well, that's the other thing about me.
That's the thing is I don't even think she's the replacement Tracy. She's more the replacement Vesper.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like, so this time you will get to keep the girl.
True.
And live happily ever after.
Well, and the whole Blofeld. I mean, that's one thing that was interesting about this movie. Connected all of his movies together.
It really did.
Like everything. And with Silva, they never really established he was part of Spectre. But I guess to get all that money and stuff he had, power, I guess, yeah.
Well, when you think about it, none of it really makes sense because he was going up against Quantum, quote
That's
unquote.
the thing that really made me mad. They didn't explain why they changed from Quantum to Spectre.
Yeah, they didn't explain that either. It's like, well, it's probably just a sub-organization. It's probably, I guess, what
I would have liked to hear that. Obviously, it's like, I'm just guessing, but...
There's a lot of... Yeah, I think this was a little sloppy.
The writing, I think.
There's a lot of things that you're left to assume. It's like, how did he get that plane? How did he avoid losing his memory? How did he... why was it Quantum in the other movies and not Spectre, Well, we know the real reason was because they didn't have the
legality.
rights to Spectre,
Yeah.
but they didn't explain a lot in this movie, which I think could have held it back from being as good as it could have been.
But yeah, I mean, it was nice to see Mr. White again.
Yeah.
What kind of poison did he have? Through his cell phone, he said?
Is that trillium or something?
I need to look that up.
I never
I'm like,
thallium.
what?
Some sort of uranium.
I'm like, I'd never even heard of that. I'm like, what?
Like,
that was through his cell phone or something? Did it say? It's like,
yeah, they threw it.
What?
Put it in his cell phone. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
And then Madeline's his daughter, and that was.
I thought that was cool the way they handled that to make her related to Mr. White. I think, oh, that's a nice touch. Where Bond has to protect this guy who was his adversary.
Right.
His daughter has to protect his daughter.
Yeah, overall the movie was good. The train car fight was epic. I mean, that was intense. He just throwing them around, and Batista's basically like the new Jaws in a way. Odd Job kind of incorporated. The thumbnails are kind of a nice touch. Cool. Yeah, that was crazy.
I just thought it was strange he didn't have much of any dialogue, which...
Yeah, you can get away with that in the older movies, but now it's like... especially when we just came off Guardians, it's like...
Yeah, where he can act.
But I do... Yeah. That's true. Maybe that's why they tried to. Maybe they even dubbed the shit line. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Mendes
say
was
it
like,
right.
you know what?
Yeah.
We need to cut any dialogue this guy has out of the movie because it's awful.
I got my hopes up when he mentioned Felix earlier on in the movie when he was with Monica Bellucci. He was like, "Oh, I called my friend Felix." I'm like, I want to see him back. That'd be awesome because you never got to really see him do much. It was kind of a tease, and then he just wasn't around. The other problem I had was when they meet in that safe house, which the name of that safe house is a throwback to Blofeld's right hand, Hildebrandt or something like that. I think that was a throwback to that.
The L'American?
No. At the end, when they get back to London,
Oh,
and they go to the
okay.
safe house.
Oh, all right.
That's the name of the safe house, and I think that's his. I think that's in the old day. That's Blofeld's
Oh, I guess I didn't catch that.
female partner, who's like very intimidating, has like a knife in her shoe, all the classic.
Yeah, I can't remember
old
the name,
Bonds.
but yeah, okay.
What got me was when after they met, and they're loading up their guns, and Swan sees them. Madeline Swan sees them all getting ready to take on the world. Pretty much, she decides I want to leave, but it's pretty much the cue is like, hey, I got to leave so I can be captured, so you can come get me at the MI6 headquarters. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you let her go? It's like,
Yeah, it seemed kind of random.
that was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And that was kind of just a beef I had.
You kind of knew, yeah. It was kind of an obvious, yeah. So yes, a little bit more sloppy in the writing.
Yeah, I
but
could say, yeah.
There was
Maybe
like
they're just
There was like 3 or 4 writers on this, so you kind of knew. And I think they were having reshoots right up until a few weeks before the movie came out, so you can kind of tell they were having issues.
This
with
is basically like they didn't want to cut anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like nothing's getting cut.
See, this is why when people say I want a movie every other year, this is why I don't want that, because they have a hard enough time getting it right, even with 2 or 3 years in between. So it's
should
not.
cut the movie in half. There's your 2 movies right there.
Yeah. But it's a good movie.
It is.
Overall, I would say.
unlike Casino Royale or Skyfall, it's not the kind of movie I'd probably go out and watch multiple times. It's just kind of a nice fitting in for Craig's run, and
I mean,
and
I'd love him to come
I'm-
back, but if he doesn't want to do it, it's a good ending.
Yeah, it's a good ending
It's
for
a good
him.
end to his Bond.
I'm
and-
fascinated to know who they'll get to replace him. But
Well, here's the other problem though with casting Christoph Waltz as Blofeld. If you're going to pick up and have him go against Blofeld in the future, you really think Christoph Waltz is going to sign on to
Probably
do multi?
not.
I don't
No.
see it, and that's the problem with casting. Is a great actor.
well, they've always
but-
had multiple people play Blofeld.
True,
anyway.
and they could do the
Yeah.
they could do the dark, put him in the dark like they did in the beginning of the movie. But that's the other problem was everybody knows who James Bond is. How can you be a spy if everybody knows your name? You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
the earlier movies, I don't think people knew who he was, and then it just got into the
Well, I think. Well, even the series itself has made fun of that. I think.
right. Well,
at
of course,
times.
Roger Moore. Every movie he did, his cover was blown right away. They knew who the hell he was, and then
Yeah.
yeah, that's just
There's a lot of in these movies. There's an awful lot of suspension of disbelief that you have. It's all in the execution.
Yeah.
and this one didn't do as good a job as some of the other ones. But even in Skyfall, or
I think the movies-
Casino,
yeah.
there's some you have to just kind of there's some things that are like that makes no sense at all, but you have to go with it.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's worth seeing, and
Oh, yeah.
I think it's worth owning personally because I like Bond, and
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wish it was edited just a tad more. I mean, when you have 3 scenes where you're checking into a hotel, I think it was 2 or 3 scenes. They're in the same damn hotel.
Yeah.
It's like you could just bring us into the room. You don't have to go out into the concierge and you're like, hey,
And that's
take a
surprising
breakfast
because
in the morning or something. Or
and that's surprising because Skyfall was so tightly edited. That was over 2 hours long, but it never felt like it.
It was
just
quick. It just
It's like,
didn't
all of
seem-
a sudden we're at Skyfall, and it's the end of the movie. It's like, wow, that was fast. But
Yeah.
but then this one felt like you could feel like, man, this is going on. When's this end?
But
that's how I
amongst
felt.
all the throwbacks that I picked up in it, maybe the pacing itself is a throwback in a way because if you watch the first few Connery
True.
ones, holy
They are
shit,
slow.
you're going to sleep
Yeah.
unless you got like a lot of caffeine in you, and they're good if you stick through them. But
yeah, they're not as action packed as
they're
like,
not
the later
no,
Bonds.
and
but,
but at the time though, when those were made, those were cutting edge. But yeah, times have changed. But I don't know. I guess you could look at pacing as that, as a throwback to that. But so yeah, overall, everyone liked it.
enjoyed it.
seemed-
Yeah, it's not even close to my favorite movie of the year. But yeah, I think I'm gonna buy it when it comes out too on Blu-ray. And,
Definitely better than Quantum.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's not even close. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
each
not a
of
high
you,
bar.
how would you rank his Bonds? Would you in order? What?
Oh well, obviously, I think we're all going to agree on this. Casino Royale 1 for me. Skyfall 2, 3 would be this one. Spectre. The 4th, obviously, Quantum of Solace. He only did 4, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it is for me. I'm assuming you guys are probably similar.
I'm pretty much the same.
I'd flip flop this one with Skyfall, but that's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, Quantum is always dead last.
But I mean, that's a pretty good run. I mean,
that's a hell of a good run.
You get 2 Bond movies that are in the top 5 probably of all time, maybe my top 7, however you want to look at it. He's right up there with Sean Connery for me. Is my favorite Bond of all time. So it's a shame he doesn't enjoy it anymore. He wants out so badly.
It is a shame.
But yeah, I almost wish they could get. I don't know who. I don't know.
It's gonna be tough.
I can't think of anybody I really want in there. It's like
people they mentioned are just too damn old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Tom Hardy is what I hear.
Yeah, I could see that.
And Henry Cavill, I'd love to see him do that, but he's doing The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which itself isn't doing. And he's doing Superman, which Man from U.N.C.L.E.
He's busy.
Lost their studio a lot of money, so I don't know if that'll even get a sequel. But he's busy with Superman.
They'll probably get a nobody or someone like Craig was, where you kind of knew him, but he wasn't expensive. You know,
I almost feel like they need to go that route and get another nobody, and be pleasantly surprised. Like, oh, this person's really good.
Well, the plus is if they do a new Bond, have a brand new actor as Bond, maybe we'll get Martin Campbell back because he's done GoldenEye and Casino Royale. I love his directing, and I would like him to do a couple more Bonds. Honestly,
he seems like he's over it too, just like Craig. He's like, maybe I don't want to do any more Bonds.
Yeah, maybe he is. Yeah. That'll be a challenge.
Not like Green Lantern was anything to write home about, but I don't know that was his fault either. That script was horrible.
Yeah. Well, that's just what they need to work on for the next one. All that said, hope everyone tunes in next week. We'll be back. I'm Josh.
I'm Al.
I'm Mitch.
Have a good one.
Take care.